At last, Unbreakable Encryption. Welcome to Mark and Pete, where we're going to look at something that seems like it must be science fiction. This is Mark and Pete, two blokes with half an opinion. Now, here's our first thought.
Securing an award. If you've won an award called Turing, after years of enduring and maturing, where unbreakable encryption is securing, then the achievement is reassuring. Yes, quite extraordinary. The US physicist and a Canadian computer scientist have won this year's Turing Award for their invention of a form of seemingly unbreakable encryption. Charles H. Bennett and Giles Brassard's work, which dates back remarkably to 1984, is known as quantum cryptography. And this has redefined secure communications and computing. Mr. Pete, we all know that data security is really important, but technology is moving fast. Quantum computing in particular is something for the future. Let me know your thoughts on this. Is this now a game changer when it comes to data security?
Well, it is. I mean, if this really is unbreakable, this makes all the difference, because the big problem, the issue that people have with use of computers, with use of online cloud-based cloud-based services, is this data breaches, and it doesn't seem. It seems almost as though every other day you hear of some massive data breach with some big company who thought they were safe. Yes, if you can have an unbreakable encryption, then suddenly, as you say, it's a game changer. It changes things. I mean, on an individual level, I think people who aren't really used to the internet, who are not happy because of this problem of security. But when it comes, I mean, really, if you're talking about being able to have unbreakable encryption, this will change the way that companies can operate, and maybe governments as well, with their need for high security. So yeah, it does almost, as I said in the intro, seem like science fiction. What you mean? It's impossible to break it? Well, let's hope it's not a fiction, because it would be a game changer.
Well, indeed. Now, the Turing Award, which is named, of course, after the mathematician, the great
Yeah.
one, Alan Turing, is known as the Nobel Prize of computing. Now, it comes with a big prize as well. It's $1 million. That's £800,000. Now, I will say that, of course, it's not necessarily the prize per se, but it's the recognition and the accolade that comes
Yeah.
with it. Bennett is 82 and Brassard is 70, both of which, of course, been working on this for many, many years. And I will say that any kind of breakthrough, any innovation is really something that I think, we should all
Yeah.
really glorify, and we should definitely praise, because
Yeah.
the fact is that we're in a world now where data is so crucial. Now, current encryption technologies rely on a complex mathematical combination. Now, of course, the actual binary coding in which we've seen computers blossom over the last 40, 50 years is something that we should all be proud of. But of course, data security, with more assets out there, the threat landscape gets even bigger and bigger and bigger. Quantum computing works on a totally different level, working on the principle of qubits. And we won't go into the science of it all now, but the fact is, it's much more complex in the way in which it actually builds its technology. And if it can be robust, it meaning that your data, your company's data, anybody's data, and any system, process, and organization can be secure, this is a good thing. Now, we should put this in context because, of course, obviously, this is a great breakthrough, but hasn't been rolled out in a mass
Yeah.
production way.
Sure.
We haven't seen this infiltrate into, say, for example, industry yet. But it really are starting to see is something that really is going to be a game changer for the future. So when we look back, over time, I think that many people will be wondering, let's see whether they'll have their own quantum computer in their own home. What say you about that?
Yes, but I think that this is the way forward, because then people will be more confident. I mean, I know there's a high uptake of use of computer and the internet and clouds, at a certain level, but people just, for good reasons, don't trust it. So if you get to a position where it can be trusted, that's great. Just a note on the irony that Turing himself was famous for breaking encryption, but that's fascinating that they've managed to get to this level by using a different method. Of course, if you're using normal computing technology, as you say, based fundamentally on a binary code, uh, eventually you're able to break it. But this greater complexity is meant to make it such that you cannot encrypt it. It's just too complex. However, just a word of caution, Mark. If someone can be that clever using new technology and new scientific breakthrough to create something that's unencryptable, someone else will come along and come up with new technology that does manage to break through. Don't you think?
Well, I think that one of the things that's interesting here is that Bennett's Brassard's theory, which is actually known as BB84, of course, go back to a little bit of history here, but it shows that any attempt to hack or copy their quantum encryption key changes
Yes.
the very behavior of its elements and making it almost impossible to do. Now,
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
agree with you that what you probably are thinking is that surely there's a way in which this can be hacked in some form.
Well, what I'm
But
thinking is maybe not yet. Certainly, I don't know how to do it, but I'm just saying maybe not yet. But at some point there will be. But
oh yes, I
having
mean
said
I'm sure that at some point that as quantum technology develops, is anything really
yeah, well,
unbreakable? I
having
doubt
said
it,
that,
but
even the best vault, physical security can be broken in the end.
well, indeed. Now, in fact, actually, the Association of Computer Machinery, the body that awards the Turing Award, praised their work as the pathway toward securing digital communications in the decades ahead. Well, these are our thoughts. We think it's great. Maybe this could be the way forward, and we'll start to see it even in our own lifetime. But, oh, great listeners, let's unlock your thoughts and hack into your opinions. What do you think about this achievement?